Alexandria Eala. She is the center of a billion-dollar tug-of-war, and the sales figures behind her jersey have absolutely incinerated the internet. It took just one hair ribbon, a single white blossom, and a flash of brilliance to unleash a retail tsunami, a counterfeit cash controversy, and a corporate battle no one predicted. When Nike walked onto the hallowed grass of Wimbledon and presented a 20-year-old Filipina phenom with a handwritten letter and a Sampaguita hair tie, it wasn't just a gift, it was a declaration of war. That solitary move sent tremors rippling through the high-stakes universe of elite sports sponsorship. But to grasp why the world's wealthiest corporations are stalking Alex Eala like sharks sensing blood, you need to know the person behind the hype. This narrative doesn't begin in a corporate office or a negotiation suite, but on the dusty red clay of a tennis academy in Mallorca, Spain. There, a 13-year-old dreamer from Quezon City fought tooth and nail to carve out space in a game that had never witnessed anyone quite like her. Born Alexandria Eala on May 23, 2005, she didn't just inherit DNA, she inherited a legacy of grit and glory. Her mother, Riza, was a swimming sensation who snatched a bronze medal at the 1985 Southeast Asian Games, while her uncle commanded respect as a top-tier sports executive. With a brother playing collegiate tennis at Penn State, greatness wasn't just a wish at the Eala dinner table. It was a requirement, and from day one, Alex hauled that heavy burden onto every single baseline she defended. At the tender age of 8, she inked her first sponsorship bypassing local snacks for a Titan Globe Telecom, one of the Philippines' massive communication conglomerates. That partnership would span more than 10 years, proving that in the fickle world of marketing, true loyalty actually exists. By 13, securing a scholarship to the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy meant the groundwork was set not just for trophies, but for an empire. Then came 2022, the US Open, the junior girls singles final. Eala shattered the glass ceiling, becoming the first Filipino national to capture a Grand Slam junior singles crown, and the buzz surrounding her turned into a roar. Babolat had already locked down her equipment needs during her rookie days. Nike had been dressing her since 2019, but those early contracts were nothing compared to the blockbuster deals lurking on the horizon. Not even close. The true explosion occurred at the 2025 Miami Open. Ranked 140 and playing on a wild card, she was expected to be cannon fodder in the opening round. Instead, Eala systematically took apart Australian Open winner Madison Keys, then pulled off the impossible by crushing the world number 2 in straight sets. She etched her name in WTA history as the first wildcard to knock out 3 Grand Slam queens in one tournament, sending her social following rocketing past 350,000. Her career earnings smashed through the $1 million ceiling. Suddenly, sponsors didn't just see a talented kid from the islands, they saw a global superstar ready to launch. By the close of 2025, she'd bagged her maiden WT, a 125 title in Guadalajara, cracked the top 50, and shared the Athlete of the Year podium with gymnast Carlos Yulo. At 20 years old, corporations were climbing over each other to get to her. But this is where the plot thickens. When fame hits with that kind of velocity, the sharks don't always wait for a contract before they start feeding off your name. That is precisely where the chaos ignited. Don't go anywhere, because the incident that followed changed everything. July 2025. Wimbledon, the crown jewel of tennis unfolding on the pristine lawns of the English summer. It is a world of strict all-white uniforms and centuries of unbending tradition. On opening day, the 20-year-old Filipina walked onto center court for her debut, wearing an accessory that the tournament's history books had never recorded. It was a Sampaguita blossom intricately woven into a hair tie, a strategic gift from the team at Nike. Before her clash with the defending champ Barbora Krejcikova, Eala received a sleek, minimalist white box from her apparel sponsor, featuring a miniature court printed inside. The enclosed note declared the flower a symbol of resilience, strength, and home, adding a Filipino proverb that promised, "What is sown shall be reaped." Eala posted the gift on Instagram, calling it the Sampaguita of my country, and the image instantly set the algorithm ablaze. Nike's official account doubled down, captioning the moment, "The Sampaguita stands its ground, and so does Alex Eala." It was the culmination of a lifetime of work, backed by an entire nation, and the image flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook with hundreds of thousands of shares. A breakdown video by tennis fashion pundit Cristina Rolfo highlighted the accessory, racking up 37,300 likes in a heartbeat. Overseas Filipino fans were left weeping at the representation on the world stage. Then came the one question Nike hadn't prepared for: where can I buy this? The initial answer was a flat nowhere. Nike Philippines confirmed the piece was a bespoke prototype made solely for their star athlete. It wasn't for sale, which of course only made the public desire it with a desperate intensity. That exclusivity didn't dampen the hype. It poured gasoline on the fire, forcing the giant brand to pay attention. In a matter of weeks, the Sampaguita shifted from a sentimental gesture into a full-blown commercial juggernaut. A limited-run Nike collaboration t-shirt materialized designed by Manila artist Georgina Camus, showcasing the bloom set against a tennis court. The design made its global debut on the glossy cover of Vogue Philippines in August 2025. Things took a twisted turn fast because the spotlight on Alexandria Eala brought more than just legit sponsors and applause. It pulled in a different beast entirely, one that feeds on clicks and spreads faster than facts. Back in September 2025, a Facebook post went nuclear. The rumor mill swore that Wilson Sporting Goods had just handed Eala a massive $45 million contract and that she had signed on the dotted line. To make it stick, they slapped on a completely made-up quote, pretending it came straight from Alex herself. It had her saying she would take all that cash to help the needy because others deserved it more than she did. She supposedly added a wish for the Philippines to keep rising. It was poetic noble and sounded exactly like the humble national hero everyone wanted her to wanted her to be. That believability made it toxic. A fan page dubbed Tennis Plus pushed it out, and boom, over 103,000 likes, 6,700 comments, and 3,100 shares instantly. The lie jumped to Instagram and TikTok with some posts linking to bogus articles filled with fake stats and imaginary interviews. Regular folks, proud parents, students, and even seasoned reporters were resharing the nonsense like it was gospel truth. But it was total fiction. Fact checkers at Vera Files dug into it and proved the mega deal was nothing but smoke. Wilson never said a word, and not a single reputable news outlet had picked up the story. One version even used a LinkedIn headshot of Joe Duty, the former Wilson CEO, who had actually quit the company 3 days before the rumor even started. Rappler ran their own probe and hit the same wall. This was a calculated hoax designed to go viral. So why care about some internet lies? Because this mess exposes the brutal reality of the branding war raging around her name. The fact that over 100,000 people bought into a $45 million fantasy proves just how hungry the market is for Eala news. Fans were desperate for it to be true, that Wilson wanted her, that Babolat was sweating, and that a global giant was betting a fortune on a Filipina ace. That fierce national pride, that burning need to see Alex conquer the world stage, provides the perfect gasoline for fake news fires. While the fact checkers were busy killing the Wilson myth, new lies were already sprouting up elsewhere. People started whispering about a Yonex racket engraved with Philippine symbols or a massive unconfirmed sponsorship from Emirates Airlines. Then came the whopper about a $30 million Michael Jordan partnership, likely cooked up by clickbait farms, mining her fame for ad revenue. Just pause and consider that a 20-year-old athlete is now such a titan that lying about her endorsements guarantees hundreds of thousands of clicks. Meanwhile, her actual partners, Nike, Babolat, Globe, BPI, and Locally, were sitting back and watching the circus. The friction between the actual business and the internet noise was about to snap, so forget the fake Wilson drama for a second. Ignore the bogus Jordan headlines and the airline gossip, because underneath that trash is a genuine commercial battle. The actual tug-of-war for Alexandria Eala is far more complex and interesting than any internet hoax could ever be. Here's the real deal. You have Nike and Babolat, two absolute titans of the sports world. Both are currently paying her bills. Nike handles the apparel covering her from the shoes on her feet to that famous hair tie. Babolat provides her weapon of choice, the pure aeroframe, linking her directly to the legacy of Rafa Nadal and his academy where she trained. Technically, they shouldn't clash, but in reality, they are fighting tooth and nail to be the brand people think of when they hear her name. When Nike dropped the Sampaguita hair tie and launched that Vogue Philippines campaign, they weren't just moving merch. They hijacked the cultural narrative, tapping into the most emotional part of who she is. It was all national pride and handwritten notes. Babolat might own her grip, but Nike stamped their logo right on her soul. Experts say this is the new frontier of sports marketing. It is not about logo placement anymore. It is about owning the athlete's journey, and in the race for Alex's story, Nike landed the first massive blow. All the while, the massive Asian market is watching closely, seeing a once-in-a-generation cash cow in the making. After she made waves in Miami, insiders noted how stars like Qin Wenzheng and Kei Nishikori turned similar moments into gold mines across continents. Alex is in a league of her own, though a national icon with international charm makes her a marketing heavyweight. Stadium Rant noted that her follower count blew past 350,000 right after her Miami performance. Since Wimbledon, those stats have only skyrocketed, with every win putting more eyes on her profile. Tony Nadal, Rafa's uncle and the guy who ran the academy, laid it out clearly after she shone in Miami. He called her a standout student who never complained once in all her years there, proving she has massive potential. Praise like that from tennis royalty isn't just nice, it is currency in the business world. That level of respect is exactly what makes CEOs pick up the phone and start writing checks. Locally, a Filipino juice company didn't waste time signing her up in July 2025, right alongside the Sampaguita hype. The Bank of the Philippine Islands kept their chips on the table too, using her image to preach financial smarts and discipline. Globe Telecom isn't just a sponsor, their family backing her since she was 8 years old and serving as the unshakable foundation, or perhaps foundation of her empire at home. We aren't talking about corporate giants waging war for her signature yet. These are homegrown champions honoring one of their own, but make no mistake, the heavy hitters are circling. So where does the truth actually lie? What is the narrative really screaming beneath the frenzy surrounding Alexandria Eala? This goes way beyond a single 20-year-old phenom. It is a reckoning for the future of sports marketing and the seismic shift that occurs when a Filipina powerhouse becomes a force the world simply cannot overlook. Let's cut through the noise and hit the hard facts as of early 2026. Aya's roster is locked in with Nike for the gear, Babolat for the rackets, Globe for connectivity, BPI for the money, and Locally Juice for hydration. Her bank account shows nearly $1.36 million in prize winnings, while her standing in the WTA soared to a career-best world ranking of 40 in February 2026. She stands alone in history as the highest-ranked tennis player the Philippines has ever produced, shattering the ceiling as the first from her nation to crack the top 40. Ignore the gossip about Wilson Jordan Brand or Emirates because those flashy contracts are absolute fiction. Credible watchdogs like Verifiles Rappler and Asian Journal News have completely dismantled those rumors. These lies aren't just harmless fluff, they are toxic, painting a twisted reality of Aya's business world that ultimately disrespects the grind she actually puts in. When internet trolls invent $45 million paydays or fabricate saintly quotes about charity, they bury the actual magic, which is already spectacular enough without the fairy tales. Here's the reality check. When Nike brainstormed Aya's Wimbledon entrance, they didn't pull some cookie-cutter campaign off the shelf. They went for the heart, choosing a Sampaguita and a handwritten love letter penned in Filipino. They embraced a heritage tapping into the very soul of the islands, symbolized by a flower that has defined the nation since 1934. That wasn't a fluke, it was a masterclass from a brand that finally grasped exactly what Alexandria Eala represents. She is more than a tennis player. She is a beacon for 23 million digitally savvy Filipinos. She represents the global diaspora and every little girl in Southeast Asia who grew up thinking world-class stardom was reserved for someone else somewhere else. During that iconic Vogue Philippines cover shoot in August 2025, Aya put it perfectly. "I am so proud of myself and everything I've built." She immediately added, "I'm also incredibly grateful to the team and the grind they put in, refusing to take the credit alone." That is her trademark. She never divorces her personal glory from the collective effort. That raw authenticity, that unscripted humility, is her billion-dollar ticket, the one commercial asset you simply cannot manufacture in a boardroom. Even Coco Gauff noticed the composure at the Italian Open in 2025, remarking that Aya seems to be navigating the chaos with total grace. Gauff noted that while the sport is a roller coaster, the media exists to spice up the narrative, but the key is never letting their storytelling morph into actual pressure. Coming from an icon who knows exactly what it feels like to carry a country's hope on her shoulders, those words hit different. They offer a blueprint for how Aya can survive the commercial hurricane brewing around her. The fake contracts and fan hysteria are just side effects of the truth. Her market value is genuine, massive, and undeniable. Global conglomerates don't waste time fighting over nobodies. They fight over the ones who change the game. So let's turn the page to the final chapter legacy. Ignore the noise for a second, forget the Phantom Wilson contract, the viral hair accessories, the sold-out gear, and the Twitter frenzy. Look past the corporate tug-of-war and the sponsorship gossip to see the history unfolding right in front of us. A 20-year-old from Quezon City who grinded in Spain and barely slipped into Miami on a wild card just walked onto the world's most prestigious grass court with a flower in her hair. What she has achieved obliterates the boundaries of tennis. She made a nation believe, and at the end of the day, selling belief is exactly what big brands do best. The Philippines knows heroes Manny Pacquiao ruled the ring with fire and fists, while Carlos Yulo tumbled his way to Olympic gold in Paris. But women's tennis, it has never seen a force quite like Aya capturing the global imagination. The commercial world serves as a mirror to cultural values, and right now that mirror is reflecting her brilliance. Nike's floral tribute was a grand slam hailed by everyone from Vogue to Tennis.com as proof that she is a cultural icon, not just an athlete. The Sampaguita, a centuries-old symbol of purity and grit, was woven into her hair and broadcast from the most watched lawn in sports. The collection vanished from shelves immediately, and that wasn't luck. It was the market validating what the fans have known all along. The friction between the apparel giant claiming her story and the racket brand that raised her is only going to heat up as her ranking skyrockets. Sitting at number 40 in February 2026, she is just getting started. Her first Grand Slam main draw wins are on the horizon, not in the rearview mirror. The defining titles, the legendary moments, and the matches that will inspire the next generation of Filipino kids to grab a racket. Those haven't even happened yet. Her commercial prime lies in the future, and every shark in the billion-dollar sponsorship tank knows it. The rumors of millions from Wilson Jordan and Emirates will keep swirling because the public is hungry for her success, and dry press releases just don't feed the beast. While fact-checkers fight the good fight, fans will keep falling for the hype because clickbait farms know a fake Alexandria Eala headline is worth more than 1,000 boring truths. Forget the rumors, this is the raw, unfiltered truth of a Filipina phenom who brought the Sampaguita to the world stage, stripping shelves of merchandise bare and forcing Nike execs to rewrite their entire playbook, all while smashing ranking records before she can even legally rent a car. You don't need to invent a fairy tale here. The reality is wild enough. You just need to step back and let the fire burn, give it room to grow, and watch it evolve into the inevitable legend it is destined to be. Because the moment Alexandria Eala hoists that first Grand Slam hardware, sitting pretty at world number 40 and climbing 20 years young and fearless, it stops being a dream and becomes history. Whatever logo is stitched onto her kit that day won't need a marketing budget. The victory will scream loud enough. Alex didn't hunt for a corporate bidding war, nor did she engineer a retail frenzy. All she did was walk onto the clay and concrete, unapologetically being the champion she was born to be. Relentless, genuine, proud, and 100% original, the sponsors chased her, the imitators tried to cash in, but the true believers never wavered. Just like the National Flower stands resilient against the elements, she stands unbreakable. If this journey gives you chills, smash that subscribe button immediately, because we are covering every single smash and volley of Alex's career in 2026, and trust me, we are just getting started. Sound off in the comments, who do you think actually deserves to represent a legacy this massive